So we'll talk about this subject matter today. So here we can see even a man, Krishna says, even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature, for everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? So one might think, what is Krishna trying to say in this? Because basically what we do is we repress our desires, right? When you come to Krishna consciousness, what are the four regulatory principles? It's basically repression. You can say something like that. So is Krishna kind of advocating for uh, um, you know complete openness of sense gratification? What is he trying to say in this? Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature. So he's talking about a nature. So, and then of course now comes the next verse where Krishna even gets even more dangerous. He says indriyasya arthe. That means senses and sense the objects of senses. The raga dvesha vyavasthithau, that is all the things that are there to put under regulations. Those regulations, of them, na vasham agachyate, should come, tau he certainly asya he parantapau. To avoid confusion, here Srila Prabhupada is clearly mentioned in a different way so that new guys don't get confused about this. What Srila Prabhupada is saying is there are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion. Prabhupada here tries to make it very clear so that a new guy does not get bewildered. What Krishna is saying that Vyavasthito, he is saying that Indriyas, actually Krishna is also could be implying something like, Indriya Indriyasya Arthe. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishta Ibutharishim Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinam Saraswati Deva Gauruvani Kucharan Indriya Visheshuni Pashadishta. So basically what I am trying to understand is the double meaning of these verses and the deeper understanding of the scriptures. That's all, nothing else. So definitely what Srila Prabhupada is translating is perfectly correct here, no doubt about it. But there is another understanding that could also come out from this verse, which is like a little bit confusion and which can cause confusion actually, in fact. So there are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such regulations. ऐसे भी हो सकता है. This can also be possible because these regulations are stumbling block on the path of self-realization. Why? Because he is talking clearly about vyavasthithau, of them. What? Indriyasya indrasto arthe raga dvesha vyavasthito. This whole thing, is one statement. Vyavasthithau means this the regulations governing senses and sense gratification objects, and of those regulations one should not come under the control. And these regulations are the stumbling blocks. That's what he's trying to actually say, which is actually quite bewildering for if you try to read it. Why would Krishna say something against the regulations? Basically. And then the third verse Krishna says is it is far Shriyan Swadharma, far better to understand, to be Swadharma, like to Viguna, even faulty, paradharmat, su anastitat, perfectly done paradharma, it is better to do swadharma. Swadharme nidham, destruction, shreya, paradharma, bhaya avadhita, is dangerous. So, what is the deeper meaning of this? Of course, now we can understand one thing. Let us assume that Krishna is trying to actually say that one should not repress anything and that these regulations to repress, they are the problems. Let's understand in that way, which will be actually bewildering for a new person. We cannot actually translate it like that. Now this is only for some devotees who are very good at understanding of what Krishna is trying to say in a deeper way. So Prabhupada also says the same thing. Now I'll show you how Prabhupada is saying that in a hidden way in his purport. Okay. So here he says, even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature. Everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? This is the first thing. Okay. Now if you go for a dictionary meaning of the word repression, that means it is subduing something. It is not eliminating certain things. It is just subduing certain things using certain rules and regulations or certain kind of force. A force might, the rules and regulations may be some sort of force, and using those rules and regulations or the force, you subdue a certain thing. Now, what Krishna is trying to say is that these rules and regulations are actually not actually natural for the soul. It's an artificial kind of a repression. What is natural for the soul? Swadharma, that is bhakti, that is natural inclination to love Krishna. So, what he is trying to say is the Vaidhi Bhakti actually basically something like when you use rules and regulations to suppress certain things as opposed to getting a higher taste and reviving your own Krishna consciousness, and by reviving that Krishna consciousness, you are able to overcome everything. So, this is what Krishna is trying to say here. So, first thing is, even a man of knowledge act according to his own nature, for everyone follows the nature. So, he says, he's stressing the whole concept of swadharma or nature. What is the meaning of nature? Nature means basically, I especially prayed to Prabhupada a lot for this because I wanted to understand what actually is happening, what Krishna is trying to say, go at a deeper level, what he's trying to say. So, Krishna is saying that your true nature is to love Krishna. Your true nature is to understand that Krishna is everything. All the beauty, all the attraction, everything is Krishna. That is your true nature. But right now you are misidentifying the objects, and you think that these objects are the cause of my pleasure. Just like Adhyatma, Adibhuta, Adidaiva. We have discussed this before also. Just like the beauty of a girl. When you look at a girl, what is happening is Dhriga Rupamarkham Vapuratra Randre Parasparam Siddhyatiya Swatah Ke Atma Yadesham Aparo Adyah Swaya Anubhutya Akhila Siddha Siddhi. So, what is happening is you are thinking that I am attracted to the girl, but it is not that you are attracted to the girl. You are only you want to see the girl. You feel like person, because that beautiful girl's light is entering the whole of your eye, and it is reciprocating with your sense of sight. But actually, it is not the girl that is entering your eye. It is the light of the sun who is situated in the sky separately. It is the sun that you are attracted to, not the girl. And who is sun? Krishna. He is the source of the sun, Adidaiva principle. So you think you are attracted to Adibhuta principle, which is the girl, but actually your Adhyatma or the internal sense object, your Adhyatma or your internal potency to get attracted, it is not running after the girl, it is running after Krishna, who is Adidaiva. So, Dhriga Rupam Arkham Vapur, yani sun's body, Arkham Vapur Atra Randhri, in the eyeball of the whole, Parasparam, the reciprocation that is caused, Siddhyate Swatah Ke. So, this reciprocation between eyeball and the object of senses is happening because of Swatah Ke, who is independently situated, Vapur, Arkham Vapur, or the sun's body. Atma Yadesham, Aparo Adyah. Just like this, Atma, among all the universal creation, Atma or Krishna is just like this principle. You can apply this principle to all of the universe. Akhila Siddha Siddhi, everything is made possible by this principle. Atma is just like this, just like the sun. Aparo, beyond. So, in that sense, so everybody is attracted to Krishna. Nobody is attracted to a girl, nobody is attracted to anything, because ultimately every person is attracted to. That is the swadharma of the living entity. Now when you repress, like, I don't want to look at the girl, I don't want to look at the girl, I don't want to look at the girl. When you repress that thought in your mind, I don't want to look at the girl, what is happening is that you are trying to repress or trying to push it using a regulative principle. That if I look at the girl, it is bad for me. My spiritual life will not go, so I will not look at the girl. But when you realize the fact that the girl is not at all attractive, the real principle of attraction is Adidaiva or Krishna, then your swadharma or your natural inclination to get attracted is actually, your natural thing is for attraction is for Krishna, your swadharma is Krishna. But this parodharma that is happening, the artificial superimposition, dharma means the innate nature of the soul. So swadharma is the innate nature of the soul. When you understand this swadharma thing, it is so important that it's better to die, understanding this principle than to live trying to repress the whole thing. So if you understand this concept that Your natural dharma is to be attracted to Krishna. Then when you think, oh, the beauty of the girl, it is not the girl, it is Krishna from whom which the beauty. Just a spark of splendor of Krishna is there in the girl, and I'm so attracted to the girl. So if you think in that way, then you become Surdas, you become Dhanurdas. Within 1 second, you become Mahabhagwat. Surdas went to the girl, prostitute, and he was like attracted, and the prostitute said, you know, all the romance that you're feeling, all the attraction that attraction is because a part of Krishna's supreme attraction, Akarshana iti Krishna, Rishikesha, who is the actual source of attraction for the senses. A part of that attractive potency of Krishna is there, Adideva is there inside me, and so you are attracted to me. But you are the real Rishikesha, the master of your senses is Krishna. A part of Krishna is in me, so you are attracted to me. What if you run after Krishna, the source, the root? Then how much more pleasure you will get? When Surdas understood this, oh my God, she is right. Why am I running after her? I should run after Krishna because just a spark of Krishna is there inside her, and I am madly crazy after her. So why not run after Krishna? This is how Surdas become a Mahabhagwat. Right from this is like the major change that happened to Surdas. So within seconds it happened actually. He turned into a Mahabhagwat and he just ran off towards Vrindavan. Similarly, Dhanurdas, he was looking at the eyes of the prostitute, and Ramanuja says, this eye is the beauty of the eyes is coming from a spark of Krishna's eyes, Ranganath's eyes. Why don't you go to it? So your dharma, swadharma, your natural thing is to run after Krishna. Your eye want to run after Krishna, but a part of Krishna is that in the girl. So when his swadharma was understood, when he understood that this is my swadharma, the real knowledge was invoked. Then So in this way you can understand that a Jnaniman, a person who has complete knowledge, sadrasham, according Chetasa, tries swasya, by his own prakriti, by his own, you can say nature. Prakriti is also his own nature. Jnanaman prakrite, Jnanaman api prakritim. So this basically could also mean that this Jnanavan actually the Jnanavan actually says his true nature inside material nature, basically. So basically this is what Krishna is trying to say is a real Jnanavan mam prapadyante, something like that. So definitely Jnanavan, the inner meaning of this verse could be that the Jnanavan actually sees his own true nature or prakriti inside prakritim or the material nature. The true nature, swasya, by his own prakriti, chetasa, tries, sadrasham, accordingly, he tries by his own prakriti, by his own nature, Jnanavan. So basically he says a true knowledgeable person by his own nature, through his own nature, he tries to understand what is the, how the material nature is working actually, how this attraction principle is working. And therefore repression, what will repression accomplish? That way also we can understand this verse actually. So basically it's like Surdas is that Jnanavan, and using his own dharma or his own nature, he saw all the workings of the material nature, how the material nature is working, and all the living entities are being attracted. All those things he saw, Jnanavan. He could understand Prakriti by his own swadharma, by his own analyzing his own attraction. oh, I am attracted to this prostitute, but ultimately the attraction is coming from Krishna only. So that is how all the, Akhila Siddha Siddhi is happening. All these things are all the Adhibhutas. I am attracted. This Adhibhuta or Prakriti is actually nothing but Krishna only, actually. Krishna's potency that is there, and that is what is getting attracted. So this is how a Gyanvan sees. Sadrasham. So his chestate tries by his own prakriti, Gyanvan api prakritim yanti undergo bhutani. How the living entities are being attracted, how they undergo the tribulations of prakriti, how the attractions of prakriti. By his own swadharma, he can actually analyze and see all these things. And he doesn't go for repressing these desires, but channeling this desire, understanding that Krishna is the source of these desires. That's how a Gyanvan sees. And then he says, Indriyarthe Ragadvesha Vyavasthithau, all these Vyavasthithau which are there, Indriya and Indriyartha Ragadvesha to controlling. For those regulations, one should not, come under the control of those regulations, because those regulations ultimately, are not going to repress your things. It's like having a dysentery. Until the dysentery is cured from inside, just repressing the dysentery or toilet from outside is not going to stop the toilet from coming. Ultimately, it is going to come at some point. Just regulating it, controlling it, or repressing it using some mechanism until that cured. And how it is cured? When you understand that the true nature, or when you chant the holy names, and when you actually see the true nature of this world. Prabhupada says, when a drunkard is drinking wine, if he just realizes that the taste of the wine is Krishna, immediately he becomes the greatest yogi. I have got the quote also for this. So when he sees such kind of things, and he, just like Surdas and Dhanurdas, the transformation happens from within. Then what happens is, then he can transform. This repressive kind of transformation, just trying to artificially control the sense gratification, is not going to work. But understanding the fact that the ultimate source of all this sense gratification is Krishna, and running after Krishna and channeling your desires towards Krishna is going to help, basically. So that is your real dharma, your true nature, your swadharma is to actually run after Krishna. Rishikesh, your true nature of the soul is to run after Krishna. But because a part of Krishna is there in the material world, the soul misidentifies Adhibhuta for Adhidaiva, and his Adhyatma is running after the Adhibhuta. But the real point is that the Adhibhuta is nothing. It is simply encapsulates Adhidaiva, just like a magnet is held by something and you are attracted to that box. The iron filing is attracted to the box, but the box is not attractive. The box is simply something that is between the iron and the iron filing. The real thing is the iron, the magnet which is there within the box. So yodhyatmiko yam purusha sosav evadi daivika yastatro bhaya vichchedah purusho hi adi bhautikah. Bhagavatam says that yodhyatmika, adhyatmika, your internal adhyatma wants to become one with, is the same as Adhidaiva, means it wants to become one with Adhidaiva. It's the same, it's always like united with Adhidaiva. Yeah, Adhyatma and Adhidaiva always want to become one. So savayadi daivikah yastatro bhaya vichcheda, that which blocks is purusho hi adi bhautikah, that is the Adhibhuta Purusha, or the Maya, material nature. That Purusha, Devi, Maya Devi, she is the Purusha which is coming in between and creating all the material elements, Pradhana and everything, all this created by Lord Shiva. So these material elements, Tamoguna and all these things are there, and these are actually creating the form of a girl actually. So you are attracted to the Krishna within the girl, the beauty of Krishna within the girl, Adhidaiva principle. But that which is in between, your Adhyatma wants to unite with the Adhidaiva. But what it comes in between is Adhibhuta, that separates you. Vichcheda, that which separates you. That which comes in between you is the Adhibhuta. And you think, oh, I am attracted to the girl. So your true nature is to get attracted to Krishna. So then he says in the next verse, so here Prabhupada actually, first here Prabhupada says for the newcomers, otherwise newcomers will completely get bewildered by all these things. It is not meant for newcomers. So Prabhupada he nicely hides this secret, because acharyas cannot reveal certain secrets to everybody. So Prabhupada is hiding this. He is saying there are principles to regulate attachment aversion. One should not come under control of such attachment aversion. He just, that is also possible because the Sanskrit can be translated in that way also. Because he says tayo, of them. But this whole, Krishna can also mean indriyasya, indriya, arthe, raga, dvesha, vyavasthitau. This whole thing is one statement. Means those regulations that regulate senses, thing, tayo, of those regulations one should not come under control. So one should not run after the regulative principles. Now, Vaidhi Bhakti is actually regulative principles only initially. But Prabhupada always says that, the understanding the core principle of Bhakti, that, the source of all attraction is Krishna, he is Rishikesha, and then putting the element of raga or putting the element of spontaneous attraction to Krishna. That is right from the first step itself. Prabhupada introduced that. Like when you have prasad, when you are offering prasad to Krishna, or Prabhupada introduced that to every house. You are actually doing Raganuga Bhakti actually, because offering prasad to Krishna is actually part of Raganuga only actually, following the footsteps of Yashoda Maya. When you are doing Tulsi Arati and asking Tulsi Devi, so all of these principles are basically you are integration of Raganuga and Vaidhi. When the consciousness is principally, you don't have any love for Krishna and you're doing for rules and regulations, and it's Vaidhi, it's regulative in nature. But when you have love for Krishna, that becomes Raganuga. Naturally, you start following spontaneous devotional service. And then it becomes Ragatmika, when you become completely pure of all contamination. But the point here is again the same thing, that the natural nature of the living entity is to be attracted to Krishna. Right now it is attracted to something else because the part of Krishna is there in that something else. Everybody is running after Krishna only. The dog is not running after the bitch, it is running after Krishna. But the potency of Krishna is there inside the bitch. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita so many times, I am that, I am this, I am that, I am the taste of the water, I am this, I am that, I am that, I am that, I am this. 10 chapter, 11 chapter, so many chapters he is constantly saying that I am the manliness of man, I am the strength, I am the cheater among cheaters, I am this, I am that. So everything that is splendorous is just a part of my splendor. Krishna says that also in the Bhagavad Gita. Why is he saying all these things? Because your true nature is to be attracted to me. I am Krishna. Krishna means all attractive. I am the one you are attracted to. That is the very principle of Krishna consciousness. Consciousnness that you are attracted to Krishna, not to all these living entities like girls and boys and cars, and all these things are attractive only because Krishna's principle of it, a part of Krishna, a small part of Krishna is there inside these things. So there are principles to regulate attraction and one should not come under the control of such principles. Like that also we can understand. And Prabhupada is also saying that, but he is not saying that openly. He is hiding it. Because this is another meaning also is true. Because Prabhupada is expert in Sanskrit and all the Acharyas are experts. So Acharyas are all together as one unit. They have told Prabhupada to write it in this way. Because you cannot explain all these concepts to a newcomer, a new devotee. There are a certain level of confidentiality is there in that. So here, if you see here, you can see here, as long as the Prabhupada is secretly revealing that it actually Krishna is saying that one should not come under the control of the rules and regulations. How he is saying that? Here is, as long as the material body is there, the necessities of the material body are allowed, but under rules and regulations. And yet we should not rely upon the control of such rules and regulations or allowances. One has to follow these rules and regulations unattached to them, because practice of sense gratification under regulation may also lead one to go astray. So basically Prabhupada is clearly saying such rules and regulation ke control mein nahi rehna chahiye, which is Krishna, which is saying here on top. Here Krishna is saying the same thing. One should not come under the control of either, you can say, attachment and aversion or such rules and regulations, because these rules and regulations are stumbling blocks on the part of self-realization. ऐसा भी बोल सकते हैं, we can say like that also, because here Prabhupada is clearly saying that in the purport, such regulations may also lead one to go astray. As much there is always chance of accident in royal roads. Although they may be very carefully maintained, no one can guarantee that there will be no danger. So in the rule, when you try to repress things under rules and regulations without understanding your own dharma, swadharma, or your true nature, that your true nature of the jivatma is to be attracted to all attractive Krishna. Krishna is all attractive. The jivatma is attracted to Krishna. That is the nature of the jivatma. The nature of the sugar is to, what is sugar nature? Is to become sweet. In the same way, the true nature of the living entity is to love Krishna. Because a part of Krishna is there in the matter, that's why in the Adhibhuta, that's why the Adhyatma is attracted to all the matter of this material world. But the true nature of the living entity is to love Krishna. Savai pumsho paro dharma yatho bhaktir dokshaje. What is the paro dharma? That is bhakti. Love for Krishna is the true nature. So next verse Krishna is saying that Shreyan Swadharma. It's far better Swadharma. Now you can see it as duties, or it can see it as your true nature also. Swadharma is also your true nature. Viguna, even faulty. Far better it is, Swadharma, Viguna, Paradharma. These all the external things, regulations, rule, regulation, understanding this Paradharma. Su anushtithat, perfectly done. Swadharme nidhan, destruction. Shreyan, better. Paradharman, bhaya is dangerous. So these rules and regulations, whatever we are trying to do or whatever we are trying to understand, and these things are still dangerous. So it is a neophyte stage. But once you come to the bhava stage, where you actually start to understand Krishna, that your attraction for Krishna increases, and you think that, oh, it's Krishna, Vasudevam Sarvamiti, everything is Krishna, then you have become absolutely perfect. Then it doesn't matter whether you live or die. So that is what Krishna is saying, that your true nature, it is better to perform your true nature, and that true nature is to love Krishna. So again, summarizing here, Prabhupada is clearly saying, he is reiterating this in this part, that one has to follow these rules and regulations unattached to them, because practice of sense gratification under regulation may also lead one to go astray. So which is the point here. Krishna is saying also same point. One should not be come under the control of such rules and regulations. Why? Because repression under these rules and regulations is not going to help you, is what Krishna is saying ultimately. So basically what Krishna is trying to say is that your true nature is to love me. You have to love me. So whenever the point of loving Krishna, that Krishna, I am the lover, that comes, that is extremely guhya. Raja guhyam. So Krishna says, Prabhupada says in another purport, that whenever you are talking about loving Krishna, your attraction towards Krishna, these are highly confidential subject matters, Prabhupada says. In the 9th chapter, he says so many times. I have made this thing also. So basically, Gita is a love letter of Krishna for the Jivatma, basically. So in that sense, Krishna is telling that, Are Baba, you are loving all these objects, but ultimately, even if you are trying to control, or you are trying to love them, or you are trying to repress it, it is not going to work, because ultimately you have to understand that I am your true lover, and I am only coming in the form of all these objects. I have lent my energy to these objects, and so you are getting attracted to these objects. So I'll end this with a story. The story is like this. There was one hero, and when I was a small kid, I saw this movie, and in this movie there was a hero. Like that hero was a police officer, and he was an undercover officer, so nobody knew that he was a police officer. His wife always thought that he was an ordinary salesman, but his wife wanted to always marry a police officer. So she was, wanted a glamorous life, a life of adventure and stuff like that. So she was always not happy with her husband, but her husband couldn't reveal that he was the perfect husband, that he was actually the police officer that the wife wanted actually. So, but wife was running after something else. Like, she was running after the Maya Mrigam Daitam Ipsitam Anvadhavat. So because of, she was attracted to something external, material energy. She was thinking, I want to marry somebody else. So what happens is that this police officer, he disguises himself like that, he makes himself like a cop, like an undercover cop or something like that. He shows himself to be a police officer or something like that. And then he comes in front of the wife, and then the wife doesn't know that it's her husband. He comes in a covered way. So then she cheats on the husband, and she runs up after with this other guy, and he never reveals his face to her, that it is him only. So she runs after this guy, and then he gives her so much trouble, so much trouble. He takes her to all the robbers, and the robbers beat her up, and everybody and everything. It becomes a big problem for her. She starts getting frustrated. Why did I run after with this police officer? And I don't even know his face, who that person is. And he's taking to me to all these adventures, and I always wanted adventures. Now she's taking me to all these adventures, and he's beating the hell out of me. Now, the point of this movie was that the husband wanted the wife to come back to him. Now, the other avatar of the husband is also husband only. It is not somebody else. The wife is attracted to husband only. There is nobody else she can be attracted to. But in this case, the police officer didn't want her to get attracted to the other avatar. He wanted to get attracted. He wanted her to get attracted to the original husband, to me, not to that other version of me, because you have cheated on me, no. So finally, he puts her into so much dukkhalayam ashashvatam, trouble, that she finally says, I don't want this police officer, I don't want any, my original husband is much better. Then she comes running back to the original husband, who's a simple covered boy, like not covered boy, was a simple person, and no glamour, nothing, very nicely he's sitting and he's welcoming her again. So she never realizes that this other person who harassed her so much was also the husband only, and she was attracted to that other person so much, and that she left the original husband, and that person who she got attracted to also was her husband only, but in a covered form, covered by some external energy. So in the same way, the Jivatma, it's left Krishna. I don't want you, Krishna. I'm attracted to some deer, Maya Mrigam. I want to run after the deer of this material world. So it's running after the deer. And what is that deer? Deer is Krishna only. This material world is nothing but Krishna in a hidden form. All these energies are coming from Krishna only ultimately, because Krishna's Ladini Shakti is present inside this material world in the form of Tapakari Lada. In the Vishnu Purana it is mentioned. So the living entity is attracted to all the attractions of this material world, and the living entity is running after the material realm. But Krishna hates it when the living entity runs after the material realm. Although the material realm is nothing but Krishna's own expansions. Nothing except Vasudevan Sarvamamita. Everything is Krishna's expansion only. Janmadhyasya yataha, everything is coming from Krishna only. But Krishna doesn't want you to fall in love with the other guy, because he wants you to love him as he is, as a covered boy of Vrindavan, as Vishnu of Vaikunta, not the material realm. So he gives you unlimited troubles. It's like he feels that you have cheated on him. Like, she cheats on the husband and she runs after her. So he gets very angry. Why did she cheat on me? Now she ran with the other guy. That guy is also him only. But still he feels cheated. You see? He feels that she has cheated on me. And so he gives her so much trouble, enjoys giving her trouble. That is how he enjoys. That Bhavananda, that is the enjoyment that Krishna, one of the enjoyments that Krishna has in the material world. That you have cheated on me, now I'll kick you until you come back to me. Getting the wife back to him, that is his enjoyment of Krishna in the material realm. He is a true enjoyer. We are just getting kicked. We think we are enjoying this material world with all these different people. All those people are nothing but instruments sent by Krishna. And all the attractions of this world also Maya, which is nothing but Krishna's own potency. Yog Maya under some disguise. So, but the whole thing, all these things are happening, and ultimately we think that we are getting kicked. Ultimately, when you finally turn towards Krishna, that I am really attracted to the Krishna only, then, then that's when the movie will end, and we'll be reunited with Krishna. So now Krishna is kind of revealing in the Bhagavad Gita. It's a kind of secret, right? He's not supposed to reveal his other avatar. So Prabhupada is not supposed to reveal that also in this, because it's extremely confidential subject matter. But somehow for some devotees he is revealing this. Oh, I am the other person. Forget it now. Come surrender to me. Just like for Surdas, just for Dhanurdas. So originally you are attracted to me only. Forget it. This is just a disguise. Come back to me. So this is a shortcut. So we should now at least understand that Krishna is directly telling us, Manmana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru, become my devotee. Then he says, Priyo sime, I love you. And he says, Bhava mad bhakto, you tell me I love you. So this whole concept of Bhagavad Gita is Krishna telling the Jivatma that I love you and you tell me I love you. That's the most confidential. He says, Param Guhya, like Guhya Tamama. Tama means the highest secret in the universe. Guhya Tamaha. And he says, Param Vacha, that's the highest and the most biggest instruction. Hear this. And then he says, Manmana bhava mad bhakto. So he's not going to, and then he says, don't share this with anybody who is envious, like that. And don't share it with anybody. And he doesn't say, idam, he says. Idam means this Manmana bhava mad bhakto. You may think that don't share this Bhagavad Gita to anybody. No, not like that. That's why Prabhupada is not revealing everything in these verses as it is. Because these verses are not supposed to be revealed to anybody, Tom, Dick and Harry. A non-envious person. Bhagavad Gita may be read by anybody, but these confidential subject matters may not be revealed by the acharyas, by Srila Prabhupada, to all living entities in what Krishna is trying to say. Here Krishna is giving a love proposition actually in these verses. In this verse, even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature. He's actually he's revealing his own, he's opening that, dress, and he's saying, I am the hero, I am your lover. All these other things are nothing but me only. And that point Prabhupada cannot reveal directly, openly. So there has to be some hidden thing. Because Krishna doesn't want anybody to reveal. He has told clear instructions. So such kind of things are there in the Bhagavad Gita. This is just one drop of how confidential and how powerful these knowledge can get of the Bhagavad Gita. Of course, the first understanding is also correct at a different level. And as you go deeper, then the knowledge completely transforms itself into something else only. So the verses also transform themselves to something else. So as you go deeper and deeper and deeper into the Gita, you will find more and more revelations. And this Prabhupada and Acharyas know it very well. Very well they know it. And every time before I read this, I pray to Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas to give me that deeper understanding of these things. And it is not by my powerful power or my understanding that I was able to understand this. This is because Srila Prabhupada and the Yogamaya and all the devotees, and they give me this some kind of understanding. Something is there here. So it is definitely the Acharyas who will actually speak to you through this Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada will speak to you. And as you speak and you go deeper and deeper, you'll relish it more and more and more. So there are two kinds of knowledge. One kind of knowledge is about Abhideya, how to do devotion better, how to chant better, how to not offend Vaishnavas, how to be humble. All these things are there. That is one aspect of knowledge. Another aspect of knowledge is knowledge about Krishna. Like Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tatvata Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mamiti. So Arjuna, like, it is about Krishna. And there are such confidential knowledges that just by knowing that knowledge or just by speaking about that knowledge, one is assured to go back to Godhead. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mam aiti. And then in the end also, Manmana bhava, Krishna says, anybody who speaks this knowledge to others, this line, Manmana bhava mat bhakto, to devotees, pure devotion is assured and guaranteed, and in the end he will come to me. Such kind of assurances he has given. So this is another aspect of knowledge, a deeper and secret aspect of knowledge. So there are two aspects of knowledge. One part of the knowledge which deals with how to do your sadhana better. And through sadhana you can go back to Godhead also. Chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the highest thing. It's like Mahabhava of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is the easiest and the most sublime process. But for those who are interested, even the knowledge part has got some other aspects also. One part of the knowledge is about how to do your sadhana better, how to apply it in your lives. And certain other part of the knowledge is the confidential knowledge, which is only about Krishna. Just by knowing certain things about Krishna, you will go back to Godhead. Janma, karma, cha me, it is not about you, how to apply that in your life. Just by knowing that Krishna's janma and karma is divya in tattva, just by knowing that, he doesn't even say applying. Janma, karma, cha me, divyam, evam, yove, ti tattvata, one who knows that in tattva. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti, mam eti, khatam. He doesn't put any further conditions, like you have to apply this in life. One who applies this knowledge in Vijnana or applies in his day-to-day life, then he will go back to Godhead. He doesn't say that also. He just says anybody who knows this. So that means that that person should have applied all the teachings of his Guru, teachings of Bhagavad Gita in his life, and then Krishna will reveal this knowledge. The very fact that such confidential knowledge is revealed to certain person means that he's already applied certain things in his life, and Krishna has cleared his visa for back to Godhead. So this is one of the things that I was trying to say, that knowledge has this aspect also. An aspect of knowledge which is purely can liberate you instantly in a second also. Things like that is there. Just like Om Namo Narayanaya. There are mantras also. Just by chanting once you can go back to Godhead. Hare Krishna mantra is also like that. Hare Krishna.